Welcome to the U World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life, health, and transformational coaches being the change they seek in the world. If you'd like to be featured on our podcast to share what you're contributing to making the world a better place for us all, please go to www.jointheuworldorder.com. Be sure to like and follow our podcast for the latest episodes. Hi, and welcome to the U World Order Showcase podcast on the Gnostic TV network. Today we have with us Bessie Estonatoc, who is a former licensed therapist turned certified spiritual coach and hypnotherapist. And she has over 20 years of experience in therapy, and she brings deep understanding of both the therapeutic and spiritual realms. She's now focusing on teaching women the art of spiritual weight loss. Welcome to the show, Bessie. It's really great to chat with you today.
Thank you, Jill. I'm super happy to be here. So thank you.
So, full disclosure, I've known Bessie for a while. And she's actually been really instrumental in helping me get to look at weight loss from a different perspective. So you want to talk a little bit about the art of spiritual weight loss? Because I love the way that it is a spiritual endeavor. And we tend to look at it as just like that thing that we got to do. We got to go on a diet. We got to do this stuff, and we got to exercise, and we just got to do the masculine thing. Yeah, push, and make it happen, baby. But you just put it in a whole different realm, which really does get results.
Yeah. Well, it comes from definitely a personal experience. So I realized that understanding that everything is energy, the way we think about ourselves, the food that we eat, and our beliefs about ourselves. And so growing up, I really haven't been a big, really overweight person, but there were these beliefs that I had that that I needed food to comfort me. And so a little bit of information about that. My father was a chef in the Navy. So he was in the Navy and he made the best baked goods that you can ever have. Bread pudding, pies, donuts. Like he made all that stuff. That was his love language because really my relationship with my father was really not there in a lot of ways. And I overcompensated by eating food, especially sugar and carbs. That was my way of feeling loved, I guess you would say. And there's a lot of background about that. But what I realized through the years that um, the beliefs I had about myself about unworthiness or not feeling loved, or if I had a stressful moment about anything, I would, because I didn't believe in myself, I would go to food for comfort. I would go to food for comfort. And my comfort foods were, of course, sugar and carbs. And so as time went on, I realized that going through my spiritual journey, I realized that, wait a minute, I see how my health is being impacted. Um, I had high cholesterol and all that kind of stuff. And I really had to look within myself to pause and see where my headspace was, what were my thoughts were. And it was almost like a mindfulness moment about food. When I would go to my sugar or carbs, I would think back and go, wait a minute, what was I just thinking? Or what was I just feeling? So there's a total art of really being able to have this spiritual weight loss or weight release. And it's really about learning how your energy and your thoughts are affecting the kind of food you eat and the amount of food you eat, and the thoughts and beliefs that you have. And that's why I'm so passionate about the art of spiritual weight loss, because it's not about this push of just losing weight. There is a whole other part of it in the mind where you have to make that decision like, this is not working for me. And I want to go deeper rather than push, like, work those, you know, walk those steps, work those, just everything. That's all good. But then there's that other piece, because once you lose the weight, right? It's a lifestyle change in your mind and your habits. And that's where it's just really an important part of understanding why there's an art to this. There's definitely an art to be able to release or lose that weight. That kind of sums it up. Yeah.
I can see that totally. And it's often that we're told to, that weight is the problem, but weight is really the symptom.
Mhm.
Other
Yeah.
things are the problem. And
Yeah.
once we address the problem, the weight will just go away. It's like, and if you're, I'm just gonna put it this way, when you head on approach things like, weight loss, there's a million and one ways to lose weight. But if you don't address what caused you to gain the weight to begin with, or to get you to the point where you're at, whether you're really heavy or you're just a little bit heavy, there was something that you were doing to get you to that point. And your mind accepts, there's the thing called set weight, where your body just it reaches a point where that's where it's going to be, where it's comfortable being. And you can eat, you we tend to eat within a range
Right.
of certain foods.
Hmm.
And even if you lose weight, if you haven't changed the set point in your body, which is, it's mental, it's your subconscious as well as your conscious mind. And it has to do with, seeing your body image. When we look at it, even though you may have lost a whole bunch of weight, your takes time for your mind, your spirit, to actually acknowledge, okay, so this is the new way we look. This is the new us. Am I making sense to you?
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. And what's interesting is if you don't really look at what the problems or challenges were, and you've lost that weight and you're at your set weight, there's still going to be that, oh, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable in my body. I'm not, loving and accepting my body even now.
Right.
Yeah, so
It's not
so
enough.
it's not enough. And so that's just, and mind you, I think it's important to really know that we can have our ego mind just kind of like go into that whole, oh, I'm not enough. But as human beings living this spiritual life, right? It's a constant coming back to the present moment to acknowledge your body and the light, divine light that you are, to say, wait, well, okay, I'm taking care of my body because this is my vehicle in this life to do my spiritual work. And if we can look at our vehicle as a way to take care of it in the best way possible, because nothing's perfect. It's what feels good and comfortable to you by eating the right foods, right? Because food is energy. You don't want to eat potato chips every day, all the time, 24/7, or, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You want to be able to eat food that's good, l- live food or healthy food, because that nurtures your body. And that's an important piece. And the way your mind, you have about your mind is really important. But coming back to, if the ego mind starts, bringing you back to, oh, I'm not enough, to say, well, wait a minute, let me look at my body right now. Let me feel my body. Wow, I am healthy, and even being gratitude, I can see, I have my hands to hold, and my arms to hug, you know, me as a woman, I think, well, I have a little bit of, I have a little belly, but what the heck? I had 2 children, and I was able to bear children. What a gift that is. So seeing the beauty in our body, and gratitude that this is our vehicle, and taking care of it in the best way possible, is just so, so important. And not feeding our body when we get stressed out with foods that don't serve us. So it's going back to, what is your mind thinking? What are you feeling that's having you go back to that food that is not good for you, especially if you eat it in large quantities.
And being okay with where you are to begin with. I
Mm.
I think
Yes.
approaching the weight loss as you want to just not so much focused on the weight loss as focusing on um nourishing your body. I like to think of our bodies as little tiny universes because we
Mm.
are not an individual, we are a collective.
Mhm.
As beings, we have cells, and cells are individual living entities. And we have actual living entities in our body that help us to be able to thrive in the world. And sometimes the bad guys they're winning. And that's when we experience disease in our body. And it's kind of like we allow our bodies to become polluted and by the things that we're taking in. It's just like on a more cosmic scale, if you live in a city that's really polluted, you're not going to feel all that well. Well, when we pollute our own bodies, they don't feel all that well. They
Mhm.
complain and
Mhm.
they go on strike, and the garbage backs up. And it's just like we are our own little universes, and we need to be good stewards of our little universes and clean up. It's possible to clean up the environment and to make your little universe happy, and then your mind will be happy because your universe
Yeah.
is happy.
Yeah. I love that analogy. That's a really great analogy. You know, last I really feel like I've been on this journey for the longest time, probably the last, I don't know, for 50 years. 50 years of eating well, etc. Just finding the right quote unquote diet. But intuitively, as I've gone through this path, and you know this too, Jill, it's like learning to understand your body is really important, really feeling out after you eat something. Oh, how does that feel? Oh, not quite, and really being in touch with your body um, is really an important part of this process here, because you can be on all sorts of diets, but the bottom line is sugar, Nyeh, you know, high refined carbs. It's not natural, right? It's our little universe does not like that. Refined sugar, our little universe doesn't like that either, because it causes,
It's like passing out guns to
yeah,
the
yeah,
criminals.
yeah. It causes havoc in the body, and it's all, yeah, I can go into a whole different thing about that, but um, those kind of things don't support our body. But good food, a lot of vegetables, fruits and good carbs, and I'll have to say, sometimes I'll want a little sweet thing, but not like every day, and massive amounts and good, you know, good, say good chocolate.
Qualities.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
quality. Yes, yes. So, it boils down to it's sensible eating in a lot of ways. And if I could, talk about the drops, I was really last last year, and it's so funny because it's not that far away. Last year was not that far away, but June, July of last year, I was really asking Spirit. I go, I really am open to what are the supplements that will help support me? Because I was eating well, but then there was, still the belly fat that was going on, and um, lo and behold, the body balancing drops dropped on my lap.
Dropped in.
And they're natural homeopathic, you know, um, supplements. And because I take supplements, and this I see as supplements. And after taking it for 3, 4 months, I was just really amazed of how it really supported me even more, um, in a natural way. And it wasn't, the Western medicines that people are popping. And there's it there for and I just want to say for some that's what they want to do. But for me, I've been on natural for I think a lot of my life. And these actually help me along with the eating clean, the exercising. And it was a really great supplement to use to be able to help burn the visceral fat, but also the ramping up my metabolism. And they call it liquid discipline. And I love that, because it makes a lot of sense to know that, okay, I take these before I eat, and I know that it's going to nourish my mind, body, and spirit, and it's going to help, just help balance my body. And so integrating that has been so helpful for, the clients and customers that I've had. And it's helped me and my husband. My husband and I have been on every diet that you can think of. Well, not almost every diet, but for the longest time, we were always working together about, okay, how can we do this? And once I found the drops, he was on board and he was so excited after 3 months. He put on his pants and they were loose, and he goes, "Oh my God, my belt is like I have to get a new belt. This one doesn't even have the last notch anymore for me." So we had to get him, a new belt that was smaller for him. So um, it has helped with our blood work that we get, along with the food and our exercising. It's just been amazing to be able to have both things be able to support us. So um, and I love that, we're accountable to each other because we help each other out in regards to that. I'm sorry, you're gonna say something.
I can say, from personal experience with those drops, where I've I've done a lot of different diet things out there because, you don't get to this point in your life when you haven't tried pretty much everything.
Right.
So it you might think that, oh my gosh, I don't want to take something because it's going to make me feel jittery. It's going to make me feel some way. And I know there's some pretty powerful medications out there that people are looking to that promise quick weight loss. Um, I, I'm just gonna say this. I'm not gonna name the thing, but I'm sure most people know what I'm talking about. It's really dangerous. I have personal people that I love that are doing it, and it's like you're messing up your system long term. These drops are not like that. These drops are they don't really taste like anything. They're very natural. They just they help to curb your appetite without any artificial stimulation going
Mhm.
on, and there's a little bit of a ritual to them because you take one and then you have to wait a few minutes. So you have to eat intentionally
Mhm.
around taking it, which
Mhm.
brings your attention back to what you're eating. And so you're not mindlessly eating, which is where a lot of people do end up gaining weight because they pick the wrong thing and then they'll like mindlessly
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
eat it,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then they're not even really conscious that they've eaten something, so they'll go and eat more because they're not really satisfied because what they ate didn't really nourish their body and their body needed nourishment. Um, so I'm really a big proponent of these drops. They're very helpful to just, if nothing else, they make you intentional in your eating patterns, which is really helpful when you're first starting out to change your eating habits.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you say that, Jill, that there's like an intentional ritual kind of thing. It's really being mindful.
Mhm.
Because, there is definitely, a rhythm that you have to have with it. And, you take the first set and you think, okay, 10 minutes, and you're preparing your body to be able to eat. And what I love to do when I eat or I drink my water is I bless my food. And, I thank the hands that have made it, and that, that it may it nourish my mind, body, and spirit. And that's another way, really intentional, mindful way to be in gratitude for the food that you're going to, nourish your body with. It's like, gasoline to a car. You don't want to put crappy gasoline into a car because it's going to mess up your engine. You put decent gas in, and it's the same way with the food that you eat. You want to be able to eat good food to put into your body. And when you can make it intentional that this is what I'm doing and you're blessing it in that way, it's just, you're honoring the food and you're honoring your body.
And you're changing its chemical composition. When you
Mhm.
bless water, it changes that water. This is science. This isn't even like woo. This is just water has a memory, and water changes when it's appreciated.
Mhm.
Plants change when they're appreciated. Your food changes when it's appreciated, and it
Mhm.
changes so that it it starts the connection with your body, even as it's still sitting on your plate in front of you. When you
Mhm.
grow food yourself, that food develops in a way that is designed to nourish your specific body. And there's
Mm.
science behind this. I mean, people have done studies to show that it's
Yeah.
just so important to be very intentional about what you take into your body, and
Yeah.
the weight will fall away.
I was
Yes.
just reading this. Yeah, the hidden messages of water.
Oh,
Yes. Dr.
I,
Emoto. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
yes.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
there's another person who's doing images, photographing.
He does the images.
Yeah, those images, but um he captures images of food, of water that's blessed, but there's images, ice will actually retain images or create images of things. It has a memory of images where they take the photo and the ice has a picture
A
of something.
beautiful, yeah, beautiful. And I think I think if there's someone else, but Dr. Emoto, did the
It's
same thing. He put them in, he, so for one example, he put a glass of water, a bottle of water, and put
Mhm,
the word love on it.
mhm,
And then another one had anger. And then he took the water sample and put it in a petri dish, froze it, and then took pictures of the crystal. And, when it was, kind of funky, because of the word, look at what happens, you
mhm.
know? So and we're made of 70% water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
blessing yourself and speaking well
yes,
to yourself is very
exactly.
important.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, um, it, but it, if for some people, it's important to really go back to what was the source of the problem, the root of the problem. And that's why, anyone who's gone through trauma of any sort, there's still that energy that's being held about that in their body. And so I help them go back to the root so that they can relax and feel safe, as opposed to, constantly feeding themselves, thinking that's comforting their mind, body, and spirit. But really, they're just using food as a way to, I call it distract themselves from the fear or the pain that they had in the past. So, I go back and start there with anyone who's willing to go there, um, and then really look at that piece so that when they can really acknowledge that what's happened in the past, and they can be able to heal that past, and um, look forward to what do they want now. How do they want to feel in their body? What are the foods that they know that can nurture them? Being able to bring that on that timeline to say, okay, I know that I am in charge now, and I feel safe. I feel comfortable in my body. I know that here right now, I can make this change. And if any niggly wigglies, I call them niggly wigglies. If any niggly wigglies come up, I can give myself some tools to soothe myself, and come back to my divine light of who I am, and really nourish myself in a loving, safe, and supportive way. And that's what I love to do with my peeps, my clients.
I love
Yeah.
that so much. And I know that you have a chakra quiz and
Mm.
an intuitive body scan that you do for people. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I I have the chakra quiz that you can take that will give you an indicator of in the moment, because things change all the time in the day. In the moment, that is one of your chakras that may be off, unbalanced, and they can take the quiz, get the results, and after they get the results of the quiz, they can go into then they set it up an appointment to go over the quiz. I'll give them some tools about how to be able to help, balance that particular chakra, but I'll also go into an intuitive energy scan where I'll scan, your chakras intuitively, and we just kind of go a little deep to be able to help them with some insights that maybe will come up. I like to be able to channel my guides to be able to help me help them. And so, there's a little process, and it's about 30 minutes. So it's a short session, but it's something that gives them a chance to understand their chakras a little bit more, and give them some messages of hope, and some tools. And yeah, yeah, it's kind of cool.
It sounds really, really good, really cool,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And I know that well, it's not going to sound too woo to the people that are watching us here, but these simple drops and the process that Bessie takes you through, it just makes the whole process feel natural, and we're not forcing anything. It's just an easy way of releasing the weight that's not serving you, because I've found in my lifetime that you can gain weight or lose weight, and it really doesn't matter if you're eating like a whole bunch of stuff. It's almost always related to what you're thinking about what you're doing or not thinking about what you're doing. And
Yeah.
Bessie is just giving you some tools to intentionally rehab your little universe.
Yeah. And it's not a quick fix type of diet. I call it a program. It's, because these diets are, people are looking just like the internet. give me quick. I want, 5G or whatever. It's not like that. It's a very intentional way of changing your lifestyle. And that's an important part of being able to lose weight so that you can sustain that way of living long term versus, okay, I've lost all this weight. Now what? I integrate mind, body, and spirit and use that to be able to have a more sustainable long term progress, in your life. And it's a, it's a, it's a beautiful, beautiful shift when you can feel good that you're taking care of your physical body, this vehicle that you have to live your life with your family, doing your work, a light worker, a light leader, or anyone who's really doing work to help others. We have to have our physical body in good shape, and that's an important part. Yeah.
Because I got this flash while you were talking, which is what made me smile. I was thinking that you're the Marie Kondo of weight loss. Because
Oh,
everybody can clean their house. I mean, you just like pile it all in the middle and then throw stuff away. But Marie Kondo does it intentionally. We're going to look at stuff and we're going to
oh,
appreciate it and we're going to release it. So you can look at your
oh,
potato chips and you can appreciate them for what they were, but they're not serving you any longer. So you may release them.
yeah. Oh, I love that. No wonder you were smiling. I was wondering. I love that. Oh, Marie Kondo weight
Bessie,
loss.
Marie, there you go. I renamed you.
Oh, that's too funny. I love it. I love it. Oh, yeah.
So been it's been really a great conversation with you, Bessie. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing about the art of spiritual weight loss because
Mm,
I it just it's touching me in a way that I didn't think that it would. But it's like this this is something that's very different than most people encounter when they come across
mm.
the desire to shift how they appear physically.
And I wanted to mention ART is an acronym.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Take an acronym.
So the A is acknowledging your feelings,
Mhm.
understanding them, where, and I take them through some steps to be able to learn how to be able to just be present and mindful. The R is whatever you're feeling or thinking, it's releasing, releasing those old narratives and being able to embrace those new narratives about your body, about eating, about lifestyle change. I mean, all of that. And then the T is transforming, just moving into this new way and just transforming your life, your health, your body. And so that's the art. That's a three-step. It's a three-step program that I just love that I was able to just get the download that I could use that as an acronym to what I do.
And it just goes together so well.
Yeah, yeah, and thank you. It has that flow. It felt good when I got the download that this was the title of my program. And I appreciate you acknowledging that it has that flow. It has that vibe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Frequency.
Yeah, frequency. Yes. Yes, yes. Yeah, I love it.
So how do people get in touch with you, Bessie?
They can go to my website, and will you be putting my website in? Okay, they can go to my website, and there, actually, my chakra quiz is there. They can take the quiz on my homepage, and from there, they can take the quiz, make that appointment to have the session with me. That's probably the best way. Um, is there a way? Yeah, I think. Gosh, to be able to know who I am and what I do, that would be a great way to do it. Just go to my website. And I have the Art of Spiritual Weight Loss there. So if anyone's interested in learning more about that, they can go to that part of my website and you can schedule a time to talk to me and we can talk about releasing the weight.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me. And what's the one thing you hope the audience takes away from our conversation today?
Oh, that everything has energy and a frequency. And that when we can understand how we feed our mind, body, and spirit in a way that's nourishing, that's loving, and that's kind, then we are able to be mindful enough to know how we feed our mind and our spirit and learn how to be able to understand about the frequency and energy of food to be able to feed our body and our vehicle. So remember that everything has frequency and energy, and you can change those frequencies by choosing and just taking action, committed, consistent action. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining me.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank you,
joining
Jill.
us for the You World Order Showcase podcast. Remember, if you would like to be featured on this podcast as a life, health, or transformational coach, please visit www.jointheyouworldorder.com. We look forward to talking to you next time as we present another life, health, or transformational coach, being the change they seek.